Maybe they've got like a thing that goes always away. Where are you? I was like, I said, I had to and then I just like
don't do it till it's wide enough and you'll turn around.
What's it sound like?
Put them on there.
Chris has got over titanium with a rose.
So the rudder is simply keeping it in the middle of the water.
Stop getting excited, Marilyn. He didn't want to walk.
Yeah, it is now.
And what we'll do is we'll do the 2 minutes. I can break the silence for you after that and tell you a few stories as we head our way home. So all I want you to do is to just sit back, relax and enjoy these 2 minutes silence. All along the backwater, through the rushes tall, ducks are dabbling, up tails all. Ducks' tails, drakes' tails, yellow feet and quiver, yellow bills all out of sight, busy in the river. Slushy green undergrowth where the roats swim, here we keep our larder, cool, full and dim. Everyone for what he likes, we like to be. Heads down, tails up, dabbling free. High in the blues above, Swiss whale and cool, we are down and dabbling, up, tails all. So what did you think to that? Bet not for you. Because I would like you to have a look on the towpath side as we sail through. And on either corner of the bridge you'll see the rope markings. So as the horse walks through, the rope rubs against the side of the bridge. And those markings should probably just be coming into view around about now. We should start to be able to see them. You see them? Now the interesting bit is you have some high up ones and you have some low down ones. I did have a lady once thought the horse was on his knees at that point. But I can understand it because, you know, when we tend to think of the olden days, we tend to think you would see what you see today with a nice big heavy horse pulling the barge along. But actually, in those days, the heavy horses were in the fields. They were working for the farmers, pulling the rollers, the drags, the ploughs. Barges were actually left up to pit ponies, donkeys and mules to pull them along. And one of those little ponies didn't have the luxury that Ross has of pulling one barge. They had to pull anywhere between 1 and 4. Each barge is loaded to a weight of 10 tons each. That is a massive 40 tons on an average day they had to pull along. And a massive weight. Makes you wonder how they could even pull that much weight. Well, the easiest way to explain how easy it is for Ross and how easy it was for those ponies back in those days, the best way to do that really is to actually take you into Tesco's. Do you go shopping in Tesco's? Or are you more of a Waitrose? Well, wherever you go shopping, in any of the supermarkets, they all tend to have these big shopping trolleys, don't they? Well, if you grabbed hold of one of those shopping trolleys, you went shopping, you filled it up with all your frozen, your tinned and things like that, so the trolley was piled nice and high. You then pushed that trolley along. You then are actually working harder than what Ross is this afternoon. It's amazing, isn't it? That's why I stick to home delivery. But actually, it's all because the barge is on water. If you took the barge out of the water, it's 17.5 tonne. In water, of course, it floats, becomes weightless, doesn't weigh anything at all. Even if it weighed half a pound of sugar, we'd be having this conversation at the bottom of the canal. The weight only comes into it as you move through the water. It's the residual weight. So in English, for a horse to pull 1 tonne on wheels is the equivalent of a horse pulling 40 tonnes on water, which is why canals were built. We were the motorways of the heyday all those years ago. And please do not take my word for it. Have a look at Ross yourself. Have a look at the tow line. Ask yourself the question, could you walk along it as if it was a tightrope, or is it too slack? And you'll discover he has the life of Riley working with us, because he doesn't just work by himself. We have a total of 4 horses, but 3 horses that actually work the barge. Our 4th horse is called George, and he spends most of his time just taking the boss to the pub and back. So he's a bit of a pleasure horse. But the 3 that actually work on the barge, you have Ross today, our 17-hand Shire horse. We also have an 8-year-old Clydesdale, who's called Ruby. And we have a baby Shire, as we call him, called Brindley, who is only 2 years old. Both are back in the Basin. If you missed them on the way out, you'll see them when we come back in again. But Brindley really isn't actually working for us at the minute. He's just enjoying life. Doesn't get out of bed before 12, that sort of thing. Where Ross and Ruby do most of the work for us. And they sort of do one day, no more than a maximum of 2 trips a day, and then have the following day off. We'd all love a job like that, really. And when it comes to the 31st of October, they're off on holiday. They went to Ibiza last year, but they go out riding, they do a bit of cart work, that sort of stuff, just to keep their legs ticking over. They are a breed who like to be working. They don't like to be stood around too much. And they become part of the family. As I said before, we are a family-run business, been in the same family now for the last 33 years, which is the Brint family. Has always been a family-run business. We started back in the 1970s by a gentleman called Tony Stockwell, who ran it with his family for a few years, and then handed it over to the Brint family, where it has been ever since.
You're going to be on the Facebook page.
We'll get all of you in as well.
Just stick with them, Peg. Debbie, do you want me to hold your foot?
I was going to put it here, but yeah. Oh, I guess if we're all going to... Okay.
Where do you want it? Dave, he's got quite a little foot.
That's all right. Photo secure that.
On private. Ross! Look what I've got! Bribery!
Oh, there.
There we go!
Yeah.
Come on!
Anything for a photo.
He's coming over
Just pull his... Where do you want to go? Just loop him round the back. You know what to bring if we come again, that's our favourite. Hold on, man. I'll wait for Will to... Let's have a waving one.
Waving one.
Hang on.
You're going to have to stay there. Hang on.